Hey YouTube, this is Thunder Ashore. Today is July 5th, 2026, so it's a little bit halfway through the year. We've got to go ahead and do a new reptile room update. Now listen, last video I made on my reptile room, I had a lot of fish tanks, I had a lot of different stuff going on. Recently I have been changing everything up. I've got tons of snakes. I've gotten rid of pretty much almost all of my fish tanks. So today we're going to be talking about only the reptiles. I've got 7 snakes, a couple lizards, some frogs. Got a lot of stuff going on, some cool stuff for you to see. So let's just go ahead and get into it. This is my 40-gallon vivarium. Of course, I've got a lot of live plants in here. A lot of different bromeliads, mosses, ivies. I've got a brown and old there. I've also got a Madagascar giant day gecko and a Standings day gecko, but they usually hide way back in that cork tube, so you probably won't see them. Not much to really show here. The plants are kind of the main feature, but of course the lizards and the frogs add a nice little touch of action to the setup. So now let's get on to the snakes. So this is my southern black racer. Now this is actually a native snake to the state that I live in. So these snakes, usually not super friendly. They're a very fast, kind of quick moving colubrid. He's actually, in a pretty decent mood today. He's about to go into shed, so his eyes are blued over. He can't exactly see the best. But just a very kind of fast, whippy, quick-bodied snake. If you live in the southern U.S., good chance you'll be familiar with these. Look at that beautiful blue belly. And it's normally a lot prettier when they're out of shed, but as you can see right now, he's looking a little bit rough. But very, very pretty snake. This is actually the friendliest it's acted. Usually very fast-moving, kind of quick to keep up with snake. But I've got it in a setup, some cocoa bark, pine leaves, and some pine bark, some pine cones, just to kind of mimic the natural habitat which you would find these in, mimicking that pine habitat there. But there we go. Don't have a name for this one, but that is my southern black racer. This is my newest purchase for the reptile room. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is a Texas indigo snake. Now he's still a small young guy. He's probably about 2.5, maybe 3 foot long. You can see not a very huge snake at the moment, but this is one of the biggest colubrids in the United States. I guess really only a little bit smaller than the eastern indigo, but they are definitely the king when it comes to the southern United States. They can eat rattlesnakes, copperheads, cottonmouths. These snakes are very, very just large, robust animals, and he is very cool. He's friendly, easy to handle, but I'm really kind of trying to feed him quite a bit to see just how big we can grow this guy. He's very gorgeous, and I would expect him, being a male Texas indigo, I would expect him to be about 7 to 7.5 foot long. So he's going to be very big, very impressive one day. But just a very interesting snake, because it's a colubrid, but it can get the size of, most boa constrictors. So very neat little animal. I had it shipped in from New York, and really just a cool addition to the collection. The king of the colubrids, Texas indigo snake. So next, this is right next to my bed. This is my largest colubrid that I have right now. This is a Kingsville red bull snake. So another species of big colubrid. She is not friendly. She is not nice, not friendly, does not like to be handled. A lot of bull snakes that you see will kind of bluff strike, and they'll, hiss at you. She will straight up bite you. Not friendly at all, especially when she's in her cage. I'm actually going to grab a hook so I can get a hold of her. Here we go. Like I said, not a very friendly snake. Once she's out of the cage, she's usually fine, easily handleable, but she just gets kind of fired up. She really just does not like being messed with, so I try to leave her alone as much as I can. But honestly, for a colubrid, she's big. You can see her here. Like I said, once she's out, she's fine. But she's pushing about 6 foot long. Actually got her delivered to me from North Carolina, so she traveled a few hours to me. But, very pretty colors on her. A large, thick-bodied snake. I really like her just because of her personality. I've got some really nice, friendly snakes. And then I've got this girl. She's kind of grumpy. She don't like being messed with. But once you get her out, she kind of warms up to you. And it's just neat because I don't want to say it looks like a rattlesnake, but it almost kind of does have the behaviors and almost a pattern like a rattlesnake. So just a neat little animal to have. Of course, this is going to be the Kingsville red bull snake. We'll put her back in her cage and maybe she'll be okay. She's tied herself up into a knot. So up next, this is my big girl Bonnie. She is my hypomelanistic common boa constrictor. So that's the scientific name, boa constrictor imperator. Not a true red tail, but a very big snake. I mean, you know, she's not huge, but she is a big boa. She's got a lot of power. And you can see that hypomelanistic gene, it basically takes what would normally be dark pigment. Normally this would be dark black, but the hypo gene turns it into a much lighter color. You can see she's got this gorgeous orange on her sides. Really, really pretty snake. And I got her for a super good deal off Craigslist. And so I knew I had to get her. And she's very easy. I mean, one of the nicer snakes I have. Very nice, easily handleable, super, super friendly. She eats very good. And I will say, keep in mind, all the snakes that I showed you so far have eaten today. So all my boa constrictors, all my pythons, they have eaten today. And typically you want to kind of limit your feeding or your handling after you feed a snake. But mine have obviously digested at least a little bit, so I'm not worried about them regurgitating. But they are a little bit thicker than normal. But you can see very, very pretty, very friendly girl. This is Bonnie, my hypo boa constrictor. She is getting big. She's got lots of power, but super friendly. Up next, this is Apollo. This is an Argentine boa. So similar to Bonnie, my standard boa, but just a little bit different. Their coloration is very, very different. Much, much darker, but you know, still a very good sized boa constrictor. And he's by no means full grown, but he is very much a big snake here. Got plenty of growing to do, but he's about 5.5, almost 6 foot long here. This is Apollo. You can see, look at that just very cool looking kind of cryptic pattern you can see on him. Can't remember if he was in my last YouTube video or not, but if he was, he has grown so much since then. He's been eating large and extra large rats, and you can see he has really put on some size. He's very, very friendly, very handleable. Actually, a cool story, I bought him while I was in Six Flags over Georgia. So I went to an amusement park and ended up coming home with a boa constrictor. Another one of those Craigslist deals where I got a good price, so had to take him home. Very friendly, very much an easygoing guy. He's nice. He just kind of wants to hang out. But that's him. This is Apollo, my Argentine boa constrictor. We'll just put him right back in his cage. So, second to last, we have got, this is Sunny. Now, he is my white-faced albino reticulated python. If you're very familiar with pythons, you know that the reticulated python, the longest species of python, longest species of snake in the world. So, although he's a male, so he won't get as big, he won't be, 20 foot long like a big female would be, but he could certainly get 12 to 15 foot long. This is in a big 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot enclosure, which is definitely bigger than it needs to be, but this guy is growing crazy. I've only had him 6 months or so, roughly. He's been averaging growing about 1 inch per week. Can you imagine that? An animal growing 1 inch longer per week. But he has really been putting on size, really, really been doing well. And thankfully, he is super friendly, very, very handleable. Especially at this size, it's no big deal. But when he's 10 to 15 foot long, you really want him to be friendly. You can see just an absolutely gorgeous snake. Look at that orange and white. The coloration on him is just amazing. There's a lot of options in the reticulated python world. So many different color morphs and schemes, but with him, I knew I had to get him. Came from an amazing breeder, Paragon Exotics, which is also where I got my Burmese python. But this is Sunny, super friendly, just came out of shed, and that orange and yellow and white, his coloration is just gorgeous. And I guarantee If I do another video like this a year from now, he might be 7 to 8 or 9 foot long. They grow like crazy. He's been eating very well, and thankfully he's very well behaved. This is Sonny, reticulated python. Look at that gorgeous yellow head, orange body. He is really something else. All right, y'all, so last but most definitely not least, I saved my biggest, most impressive favorite snake for last. Kind of hard to miss him right here. This is George, my Burmese python. Now, he's actually an albino granite het green, so you can see he's got a lot of different genetics behind him that make him this solid yellow color. Very, very pretty. By far the most I've ever paid for a snake, but it was worth it because he is a very, very nice, very friendly, personable snake. He has eaten today, so he should be full, but I just want to make sure that he's not in food mode. I want to let him know that, hey, I'm coming to hold you. I'm not feeding you. We want him to be in a good mood so that he understands and he knows what's going on. I don't want to hold him too much because he ate a 3XL guinea pig and an extra large rat today. I wouldn't normally feed him that much, but I had an extra rat that one of my other snakes hadn't eaten. So I'll kind of just get him out for a minute, show him off. But this is George, and you can see the guinea pig sitting in his belly there. Just a true amazing snake. Look at the size. Look at the size of this guy. He's so friendly, so kind, so nice. Very easy to handle. And that's what I love about these Burmese pythons. You know, my boas are cool, my colubrids are cool, but they kind of just sit there. They normally don't do much. George, anytime you open that cage, he's going to come right up to you. He's going to sniff you. He's going to say hi. And he's just a really good guy. But this is George. He is really something else. By far the coolest, best snake I've ever gotten. And I don't plan on ever getting rid of him. Now, he's probably about 7.5 to 8 foot long right now. He's definitely a big snake. He's bigger bodied. And Sonny, my retic, will most likely get much longer than him. But Burmese pythons, you know, they're very special. They're known for being pretty much the puppy dog of the big snake world. They're so friendly, easy to handle, and I don't know, he's just something special. That was, by far the best snake I've ever purchased. Well, y'all, that about wraps it up for right now. I've got a lot of different animals. I've got a lot of cool snakes. I don't really have any other snakes that I plan on getting right now, but of course my plans always change, and I end up moving through snakes pretty often. So who knows what snake I will get next. I appreciate y'all watching. This has been my reptile collection right now, about midway through 2026. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave comments if you've got any comments on my snakes or any ideas that I should get. I appreciate it, and hope you have a great one.